Weather on the go, all your weather coverage here on this Wednesday, August 7th, 2024, and we are tracking Tropical Storm Debby that continues to dump a lot of rain across the eastern United States. A lot of impacts still from Debby, and we're going to be looking at the long range, not only for the hurricane season, but also for the mainland United States in today's weather forecast. So make sure to press the like button down below if you do enjoy today's weather forecast. Make sure to leave any comments, questions, and concerns below, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel down below as well. It helps out more than you know. So right now you are looking at the GOES satellite imagery, and what you're seeing across the eastern United States is Debby. And that is pulling an influx of moisture up off of the western Atlantic basin into the Carolinas, into Virginia, and eventually into the mid-Atlantic and Northeast as we go over the next couple of days. Tropical Storm Debby is still a strong tropical storm, actually regaining intensity as it's moved back over the open waters just off the coast of South Carolina, back up to maximum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour. Movement is northeast at 5 miles per hour, so it is crawling at this current time, and that is what is actually leading to some higher flash flooding across this area because it's moving so slowly. And because it's such a strong system. Now, as we go into Thursday, it's going to move back over the land there of the Carolinas, and then it's going to start to weaken here with that land interaction as it moves up toward West Virginia, and Maryland to a tropical depression, and then remain a depression through Friday, Saturday, and into the weekend here. So that is what we're seeing as it moves up toward the Northeast. So let's track it here today. There it is off the coast of the Carolinas, off the coast of Charleston, South Carolina, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina here, and that is re-strengthening this system. It is to not be ruled out that a Category 1 hurricane could not happen from the storm. Probably pretty low still of a chance of that happening, as it's still just a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm. But hey, you never know. Those water temperatures, those shelf waters near the Carolinas are still pretty warm. Otherwise, we are starting to see some very heavy moisture moving back into the Carolinas as we go through today and tonight. Onshore flow is going to be significant as well, and that will continue as we go into the day on Thursday tomorrow, even as the system moves onto land again into the Carolinas, and it's going to get kind of caught up with this trough. See this big trough up here in the northern United States? That system is actually going to speed up and get caught into that trough as we go into Friday. So as it moves toward the mid-Atlantic, that trough is going to take Debby and actually fling it towards Canada there and into the northeast United States as we go into Friday, but especially Saturday and Sunday here for the weekend. And with that onshore flow that we were mentioning today, tonight, and on Thursday, we could be seeing storm surge, not too significant, but 1 to 3 foot storm surge along most of the coastline there of the Carolinas here. So from Wilmington area all the way down here into places like Myrtle Beach and back down toward Charleston, we could be seeing up to 3 foot storm surge. And what that means is up to 3 feet of water above normally dry ground is what we are seeing here as we go through the day on Thursday and into Friday. Looking at the rainfall amounts going through Saturday morning, very heavy rain here continuing for the Carolinas into Virginia. This is additional rainfall on top of what we've already seen, so expect another 6 to 10 inches in a lot of these areas. A good 3 to 6, 7 inches of rain likely across most of interior New England into portions of the mid-Atlantic here, including portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, New York State, into Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, all the way down into portions there of West Virginia. Be watching out for flash flooding there. A high risk of flash flooding is likely today across the eastern Carolinas. That expands into more of North Carolina as we go into the day on Thursday tomorrow. And then we have a moderate risk for flash flooding here for portions of the interior New England region, all the way down here along the Appalachians as we go into Friday. We know it's very hilly, very mountainous. It's the Appalachian Mountains, so we could start to see a lot of runoff as we go into the day on Friday across that region, with that slight risk for flash flooding still all the way down into Virginia and the Carolinas on Friday. Looking across the entirety of the United States, that ridge of high pressure that has been a very big scorcher of a summer across the desert Southwest remains as we go through today, as we go into Thursday, and as we go into Friday, and starting to expand back there into the southern plains. And what this means is temperatures this afternoon are going to be well into the triple digits again. 102 in Oklahoma City, 107 in Wichita Falls, 104 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and 103 in Amarillo. So it's going to be very hot there in Texas this afternoon. That continues into Thursday. Look at the boundary, though. Starts to move southward into Kansas, into the Oklahoma-Texas panhandle. So that means a lot cooler air further to the north, into the northern tier of the United States. Much cooler temperatures, refreshing temperatures. If you have any lawns that need mowed, if you have any dogs that need walked, for example, or if you want to take a walk yourself, definitely get out and enjoy it, because temperatures in the 60s and 70s will be a welcome sight up there. More triple digits, unfortunately, though, from Oklahoma down into Texas as we go into Thursday and Friday as well. That boundary, though, is going to start to bring relief into places like Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and Amarillo as we go into Friday here this week. There isn't much severe weather to talk about this week, but there is some. So we do have a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk of severe weather from southeastern South Dakota through much of Nebraska, northwest Kansas, the front range of the Rockies in northeast Colorado, and southeastern Wyoming. There could be a couple of stronger storms there as we go through today. Not really much severe weather on the map as we go into Thursday or Friday, so that's some good news, but you can see there is a little bit of rainfall we're going to contend with across the middle of the country through the start of the weekend through Saturday morning on August 10th, and there could be amounts that could range anywhere from a trace, if you barely see any rain, to as much as 3/4 of an inch or an inch here, especially back there toward the front range as we go through the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, we have that trough continuing to scoot across the northern United States. That's going to pick up Debby, but what also going to do is cool our temperatures off. That boundary that's going to be pushing further south toward the southern plains, toward the Red River Valley. Temperatures could be as much as 15 to 20 degrees below average for this time of year for the weekend across the northern and northeastern United States. We're still going to be seeing above average temperatures, 15, 20 degrees above average from Texas along the Gulf Coast and westward there toward the West Coast. So expect some warmer temperatures there this weekend. Precipitation prospects for the weekend, pretty dry. We do have a couple of thunderstorms possible there on Saturday from Kansas down into Oklahoma and into Missouri, with that boundary starting to push south here, interacting with that warm, moist, and unstable air. Same thing there on Sunday, but I don't think any severe weather outbreaks, tornado outbreaks, or anything like that will happen. Just kind of an everyday, afternoon pop-up shower or storm as we go into the weekend. Going into next week, as we go into that Monday, August 12th through Friday, August 16th timeframe, now we're entering mid-August, we're going to see that ridge really continue across the southern United States. So you're hot in Texas, you're going to remain hot in Texas this weekend, and then as we go into next week as well, and then you can see the cooler air with the remnants of that trough across the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, and some cooler air over here too in the Sacramento Valley in California and parts of western Nevada will be possible into next week as well. And some relief from the drought across the Pacific Northwest will continue with above average rains over there for places like Seattle, Portland, Boise, Idaho, and then over there toward Helena, Montana, some of those areas that need the rainfall. Especially with those ongoing wildfires out there, that'll definitely help contain some of those fires with some moisture out there. Some of that moisture will be spreading a little bit further to the east there into the Midwest, into the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, as well as back into the Four Corners region. Pretty dry, though, along the Gulf Coast as we go into next week. Here are the rainfall amounts as we go through next week, Monday, August 12th through Friday, August 16th. And you can see a corridor here across the northern plains, central plains, and down into the Missouri Valley. Places like St. Louis, Paducah, Kentucky, Kansas City, and back into Lincoln, Nebraska. That's an area where we could see a few inches of rain as we go into next week, with multiple rounds of showers and storms possible. I would not rule out a few strong storms, but it looks like mainly just some heavy rainfall there. Taking it back out to the tropics, let's look at the sea surface temperature anomalies here. We're still pretty warm in the Caribbean. The Gulf is well above average, and the western part of the main development region is really warming up too. So the tropical Atlantic is still pretty ripe for tropical development. And you can see climatology does suggest that we're going to start to see a lot more named storms, whether that be tropical storms, hurricanes, major hurricanes over the next few weeks. As late August, we really start to see that ramp up toward peak season as we do get closer to the peak season there during that second week in September every single day here. And you can see the experts over there at the Climate Prediction Center by that third week in August, August 14th through the 20th, likely seeing some tropical cyclone formation here just near and north of the Caribbean and getting close to the United States, and then all of the main development region back there toward the Caribbean, the Northwest Atlantic, and the Gulf could be watching that for the last week in August for some tropical activity. So it looks like August could finish off very busy there in the tropics. Already, the ensemble models are already showing here a week from today another system likely to develop just to the north there of the Greater Antilles of the Dominican Republic, Haiti there, and also Puerto Rico, and the EPS ensemble guidance. The GEFS ensemble guidance also hinting that as well, and the Canadian ensemble guidance, the GEPS, is also hinting at that as well. So that is something we'll have to watch. That's 3 main ensemble members that we are keeping an eye on that could actually show that system developing a week from today toward the middle of August. So forecast breakdown for you today. Tropical Storm Debby continues to impact the east coast of the United States. Very heavy rain, flash flooding will continue across those areas on up into the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. Very heavy rainfall and flash flooding through the weekend, so make sure you are watching out for that. Seek higher ground if the flash flood warning is issued for your area. And the long-range outlook appears busy in the Atlantic Basin for tropical weather. We'll continue to watch it right here for you on this channel. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Like the video by giving it a thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. Get to those later on today, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Wednesday out there.